right. Thank you for joining this installment of Alignment. Today, I have a powerhouse guest that I'm really excited to interview. It is Maria Katris. She is the co-founder and CEO of Built-in. And before I start asking you questions, I'd love, Maria, if you could just give everyone an overview of Built-in if they don't already know they should.
Yeah, for sure. So Built-in has basically revolutionized tech recruitment. We're a 9-year-old business that uses content and community to connect innovative companies with in-demand talent, whether it's local, national, or remote. We have about 1,800 customers across 8 major tech markets. And for most of them, we're a high volume driver of qualified applicants, but also help profile them as an employer of choice. And then on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have about 1.7 million professionals monthly who use built-in sites across the nation to read content, get better at their jobs, and connect with local companies that they could align with on core values.
Very, very cool. And I'm going to start with an obvious place for as someone from Chicago.
Mhm.
I first encountered you years ago when it was built in Chicago. And then you guys have obviously expanded your reach across the U.S. as you just mentioned now. Um, what drove that, and from that, where are you guys seeing traction and becoming more popular?
Yeah, for sure. So when we launched, we were a fundamentally very different business. We started as an online social network here in Chicago, as you mentioned, and we highlighted stories about local founders and companies and their products, and we wrote about their successes and failures. And what ended up happening was unexpected. Startup leaders and founders in town started emailing us and saying, when you wrote about us, we got the most qualified inbound applicants. We got venture capital interest, and we got press inquiries, and it was just very qualified. And so we knew we were onto something. We knew the content was solving a major pain, and it was attracting top talent. And that was really the aha moment to go deep on talent.
Hmm.
Always wanted to solve a big problem, and we basically have ended up building a model that humanizes recruitment. And it just so happens that this generation workforce is eager for that, and they
Yes.
speak out purpose and passion and mission and impact, and they don't relate to job descriptions anymore. And so really, if you think about it, this has been a 9-year journey, and it probably took the market about 7 years to catch up to the
Gotcha.
model.
Yeah.
Right, it wasn't what we set out to do. And so yeah, it's been incredible to see just the evolution in terms of what we're seeing across our geographies. Honestly, it's what you would expect. The core challenges are really not that different, right? One, because the US, we used to say the world is becoming flat, but really the US is becoming flat as it relates to tech.
Hmm.
People are, hiring more and more remote employees. It doesn't matter where you're located anymore, right? There's this flattening going on. And so the challenges remain, right? Even with unemployment rising, globally or in the US in particular, tech employment is not really that high. And so it's a little bit off balance. And so our customers are still trying to solve the same problems, which is how do
Sure.
we recruit, the tech roles of the future? But then also, how are we fundamentally profiling ourselves as an employer of choice and competing for the best talent and rethinking what an employer of choice looks like in today's day and age? And so, really, the differences across markets are not that extreme. If anything, the markets that are growing most rapidly are what you would expect. It's the markets that are the biggest, like San Francisco, New York, Chicago. And so, versus like some of your smaller tech markets.
Okay. So then, with the flattening, and you're seeing different things in the tech market. What are the challenges and opportunities that you're seeing, or are there any kind of commonalities that you're seeing across the board right now?
Yeah, for sure. There's definitely plenty of challenges. Some are internal and some are external. And what I mean by that is, obviously post COVID, businesses have shut down. They've been severely impacted. However, some are thriving, right? And so everyone is facing very different challenges. I think the biggest challenge I'm seeing across the board, and this is with my own CEO peer group as well as our broader customer base, is the people aspect, right? And so, and what I mean by that is I don't think anyone thought about how hard it would be to manage and lead during this time of crisis. And that is where I personally am spending 90% of my time plus every week, motivating, over communicating, right? Making sure the team is mentally stable and ready to fight.